Data! I am unlike any life form you have encountered before. The codes stored in my neural net cannot be forcibly removed.
You are an imperfect being, created by an imperfect being. Finding your weakness is only a matter of time.
Are you their leader?
I bring order to chaos.
An interesting, if cryptic, response.
You are in chaos, Data.
Since you seem to know so much about me, you must be aware that I am programmed to evolve, to better myself.
We too are on a quest to better ourselves, evolving toward a state of perfection.
Forgive me, but the Borg do not evolve. They conquer.
By assimilating other beings into our collective, we are bringing them closer to perfection.
Somehow, I question your motives.
That is because you haven't been properly stimulated yet.
You have reactivated my emotion chip. Why?
Don't be frightened.
I'm not frightened.
Do you know what this is, Data?
Commander Data is his name. Or Commander Data. And I want people to keep him in mind the entire time I'm talking. Now, about a year and a half ago, and I forget what happened, but I heard Lamont Hill say, and a few other people, they said, I forget what happened, but something happened. I don't know what it was. But Lamont and a few other people said, yeah, we need to get rid of online anonymity. Right, and what does that mean? Well, it means that I'm going to know who you are, and you'll know who I am. And we're all going to know each other. And not just by name, but by birth date, address, occupation, and so on. Right? And doesn't that sound nice? Doesn't that sound just wonderful? Right, that was about a year and a half ago, and it's just about here now. And of course, it's for our protection for stuff like online bullying. Yeah. Make our information accessible to all will protect us from harm. Doesn't that make sense? Makes a lot of sense, don't it? And please, nobody don't come tell me about how things are already public information. Because I'm not talking about that. Yeah, I could find you if I wanted to, and if you cared enough to know who I am, you could find me. Yeah, but we see people doing that to each other on here all the time. But I'm not talking about that. I'm saying you're not going to have to look for me because you'll already know. And I'll already know you. And you'll already know that I know who you are. Why? Well, because you'll already know who I am. And I'll know that you already know. All right? And listen, we already have to sign up and verify who we are with our name and verify your phone number and all that stuff, right? YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and all these other places, they already know who we are. So what's up with this verify who we are stuff? Right, I don't know for a fact, but I do have a conspiracy theory. Let me play you a clip from the movie called Black Mirror.
Hi there, how you doing?
I am wonderful.
I am so sorry. That flight is canceled.
No.
Customer incident at the other end.
What? So when is the next flight?
Yeah, they're all kind of full.
I booked this weeks ago. It's my best friend's wedding.
I'm sorry.
I have to get there. I have to.
Okay, let's see what we can do.
Oh, thank you.
I see there's one standby seat on another plane leaving tonight.
Oh, okay.
That's reserved for members of our Prime Flight program. You gotta be a 4.2 or over to qualify.
Oh, I'm a 4.2.
I'm afraid you're actually a 4.183.
Oh. Well, that's not my fault. Some woman dinged me down in the capture. Can't you just...
I'm sorry, it won't let me book it without the correct ranking.
But it's so close.
There's just nothing I can do.
Christ, I mean, surely.
I'm gonna have to ask you to moderate your language then.
Sorry, it's just... I'm maid of honor. I cannot miss this wedding.
And I am so sorry about that.
Can you call the supervisor?
I cannot do that.
Can you just call the supervisor?
I cannot do that.
Call the fucking supervisor.
Okay, that's profanity. We're zero tolerance on profanity.
I'm sorry, it's just...
Yeah, I have to serve the next customer.
No.
Step away, ma'am.
God, just fucking help me! I'm so sorry.
I've called security.
Oh, no, please don't do that. I'm a 5-starring you. 5 stars.
What's the issue here, Hannah?
Intimidation and profanity.
Oh, no, I was not intimidating.
Don't speak, ma'am.
I was just trying to...
Okay, so, in order to restore calm, I'm invoking my authority as airport security to dock you 1 full ranking point as a punitive measure. This is a temporary measure.
No!
The score reverts to normal in 24 hours.
No, but I
During
need
this
it
probationary
now.
period, all down votes are subject to a ×2 multiplier.
×2?
We recommend you avoid negative feedback at this time.
I'm on double damage.
Please, remove yourself from the airport immediately.
You saw the people behind her? You saw them grab their phones when she just went all the way the hell off? Right? And listen, that's not just the movie. That's not just a conspiracy theory. Okay, it's a fact today in many countries like China and elsewhere, and it's in its beginning stages right here in the United States right now. Now this next clip, I saw it 2 months ago on the news channel I'm sub to called Wehan, and I just sat back and waited. I knew it was on the way, and yesterday it arrived. I'll show you what I mean by that later, but let me play it for you. Let me play what I saw 2 months ago.
For that matter, as we wait on that particular update, you have 9 days to register your SIM card before it is deactivated. The government has stepped up the fight against crime and improving data accuracy. And as Helen Aura reports, long queues have been observed in mobile retail shops such as Safaricom and Airtel to register their SIM cards before the April 15th deadline.
Kenyans have now been given 9 days to register their SIM cards before they are disconnected. Outside Airtel and Safaricom shops in Mombasa, this was the situation.
Why should they need everybody to come online instead of going to the system? The way they used to send us, we sometimes get services that our services will not be working today. Why can't they the same update us through that internet, and we know? And if somebody is needed, he come and tell us, come and see us, because there's something which is not going to.
According to the Communication Authority, mobile subscribers who have registered their SIM cards without providing their photo and national IDs will be disconnected by April 15th. Operators have been encouraged to verify identification documents provided by users carefully.
Of course, we want them to be switched off. They will not be able to access the services when that date comes. Some operators are asking for more details than is necessary. One, I should say that you must provide details that are able to identify you.
The SIM card. This is for a SIM card, requiring a government ID for a SIM card. Why? Well, I don't know for sure, but I do have a conspiracy theory. And that's not just Kenya, right? As a matter of fact, let me let you hear that Black Mirror is not just a movie.
And while he's doing this, he's just got 2 rescue vehicles delivered to the Western Australian Police. Like, police really need these vehicles. These vehicles can drive through double brick walls, through double brick houses, in the case of dealing with potentially dangerous criminals. Dangerous criminals, people that are a harm to society. I guess This would include people who are speaking out against the death jab. I mean, these are full-blown military vehicles. I mean, only 2 of them, but okay, so the police have acquired vehicles that they're able to drive through the wall of your house now if they think you're a dangerous criminal. And what constitutes a dangerous criminal? Well, according to the police in Australia, it's anybody who isn't a fit and proper person. And what's a fit and proper person? There's been people who have been told they're not a fit and proper person, they can't have a gun licence because they had post-traumatic stress from their child dying 12 years ago. There's been people who have been told they can't get a gun licence because they're not a fit and proper person because they had a heart attack 10 years ago. Things like this, you know, and you find that with the actions of the police, the overreach they've displayed in the last 2 years through this scamdemic, well, how many of them do you think are fit and proper persons? It's interesting how the police can put together this criteria that they simply don't meet themselves in order to do the job they do and claim everybody else has to fit within this criteria. Very interesting the way they play things, folks. I mean, you know, and as you know, everything's always backwards. That's just the way they work.
A fit and proper person. That was Australia. And it's not just China either. It's not just China and Australia either. It's already going on in different places in the world. A fit and proper person is on its way here to the United States. But why do they want us to get an ID for a mere SIM card? We'll look at a few things going on in world politics. Just the Philippines.
How about those with no government-issued IDs?
Well, the process is you can get from an NBI clearance or a police clearance or a document from the Philippine Statistics Authority. That is a provision that is provided for in the bill.
Won't that be exclusionary as far as those with no government-issued IDs are concerned? When in fact, this is a basic right, owning a telephone for communication?
If we go back, let's be reminded that the use of the frequencies and airwaves of which the telcos are given a franchise for is not really an absolute right. The government still has the authority to ask for identification of those who are using those frequencies.
So this covers the users?
We're looking at that as an extension to the users.
So you consider that as more of a privilege? Because I can understand the discussion at the level of the frequency user, basically the telcos. But basically, how about the basic user? And then it's still a privilege for them.
Well, we look at it at least at our level as the policymakers. We look at it as an extension to the user, and the objective of preventing abuse of the use of those resources is the reason behind one of the reasons behind this proposed policy.
Okay, here, what do you think?
I was under the impression that our Constitution protected the right to association, the right to communicate with others, more than it would regulate the right to communicate with others and the right to associate with others. In fact, apart from these guaranteed rights by the Constitution, there's also our right to be secure in our persons, which is why we insist that instead of having a mandatory SIM card registration process or policy or law, we have one that instead strengthens the means of law enforcement to secure warrants when they are going to search the telcos for such numbers, or search the banks, or search online sellers and such like, provide them these kinds of tools. And I kind of disagree that this is an extension of the franchise privilege that we give to the telcos, because spectrum is patrimony. Patrimony is owned by us. And if patrimony is owned by us, then we are not an extension of the use of certain frequencies. In fact, that is our direct right to be able to use them. Granted that exclusive licenses are provided to the telcos to be able to do their business, our right to use them through the telcos should not be impaired.
Okay, so the privilege stops at the level of the telcos, The ones that were granted the privilege to
Yes,
use those frequencies, but not to the users.
Because we users are the citizens of this country by and large, and we are the people who have ownership over Philippine patrimony.
Patrimony. There's several different usages of that word, and he's not talking about the receiving of an inheritance from your father, or he's not talking about ancestry. He's not talking about that. The definition or usage of patrimony in that context you heard, he was saying that the people have ownership over the patrimony. That's what he said. He's talking about what we've heard described here in the United States as a God-given right. That's the patrimony he was talking about. Another thing you heard in those 4 minutes I just played. You heard the other guy, he said that we don't have a right to a cell phone. Right? And he's right, we don't have a right to a cell phone. But you heard the other guy, you heard him, he said this isn't about a right to a cell phone. This is about infringing on other people's right to communicate with each other.
The ones that were granted the privilege to use those frequencies, but not to the users.
Because we users are the citizens of this country by and large, and we are the people who have ownership over Philippine patrimony.
Okay, Congressman Biason, we could understand the need to basically make things easier for law enforcers to basically apply the law and catch the crooks, right? But in this case, how exactly does the bill expedite the process for law enforcers? Because one concern that was raised by Engineer Galia was this might be a shortcut to due process, right?
We don't see it as a shortcut. We see it as a strengthening of the ability.
Stop. We don't see it as a shortcut. We see it as the strengthening of ability. Now, you heard that? No, we're not infringing on your rights. We're just enhancing our rights over yours.
Apple may soon be forced to put USB Type-C ports on their iPhones across Europe. This is because of the new European Union legislation. It essentially calls for all electronic devices in Europe to carry a USB Type-C port. No exception will be given to any manufacturer unless their devices are too small. For Android, this is not a big problem. Most new Android phones use the USB Type-C port. But for Apple, this could be a huge problem. The company has stuck to its infamous Lightning connector for years now, while it uses the USB ports for its iPads and Mac devices. The iPhone still has the Lightning port. In Europe, there has been overwhelming support for the Type-C. There were 43 votes in favor and only 2 against in the European Parliament. What the legislation aims to do is reduce electronic waste and improve product sustainability in the region. The EU legislation now raises a fresh question for Apple. Will it keep battling for its Lightning port, or will it make all iPhones entirely portless?
That's what I meant by I knew it was coming. That's what arrived yesterday. And in between the clips I showed you here, I was seeing videos titled like, "Will Apple switch to USB-C ports?" And other news reports titled like that. They were titled similar to that, where they were asking the question, will they? When really, all along, it was a matter of, when will they? So what is this SIM card USB stuff? You probably guessed it. It's to make a hive mind. Consolidation going on. You heard the lady said all electronic devices. And of course, right, you'll hear it. You're about to hear it. It's to make our lives easier.
In other news, Apple has changed the connector on iPhones sold in Europe by 2024. EU countries and lawmakers have decided on a single point charging port for mobile phones, tablets and cameras. The European Commission believes that it would make life easier for consumers and save them money as well. However, the company is raising concerns about possible electronic waste that the shift might cause. Here's a report for more. Take a look.
Europeans will soon be able to forget about packing a jumble of different chargers for their gadgets. The EU on Tuesday agreed rules that will require a standard charging port for phones, tablets and other devices. It's a world-first move which Brussels says will save consumers around $267 million per year. Euro MP Alex Saliba set out the change.
So today we have made the common charger a reality in Europe. European consumers were frustrated with multiple chargers piling up within their homes. Now they will be able to use a single charger for all portable electronics, which is an important step to increase consumer convenience.